all, give our honor and praise to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the great, mighty, revered God, the most, who bestows love and possesses all things, who remembers the pious deeds of the patriarchs, the Most High, slow of anger, great in kindness, forgiving iniquity and transgressions, all by no means clear guilty, visiting the iniquities of fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation. The Most High's work is perfect for all his ways of justice, the God of faithfulness and without iniquity, just and right is he. Giving due respect and honor to a head in Israel, chief Eleazar, to the chief men, princes, brothers and sisters, I sing unto you the tongue of my forefathers, Shabbat Shalom. Yom Teruah, Shalom Lekah.
Yom Teruah, Shalom Lekah.
This is the day that children of Israel met God. We just coming out of Egypt. We left Egypt, the Most High led us through the wilderness. Now we're at Mount Sinai. God came down on Mount Sinai. When the presence of God came down on Mount Sinai, the whole mountain range was incinerated. He got ignited. His presence alone ignited the whole mountain range. All right? Fire. The whole mountain range is on fire. The angels is blowing the voice of a trumpet. They didn't have a trumpet. They had their voice, and they made their voice as a trumpet, and they waxed louder and louder and louder and louder. The mountain is skipping, and all the people heard was the voice of God giving strict commands. All these laws came from the mouth of God. There is no man that can formulate these laws, these commandments, these statutes. No man formulated these laws. Now we need to realize one thing. Moses wasn't there with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
That's right.
So when he was in that mountain for 40 days, God is telling him what took place. God is reiterating to him everything that took place from the beginning of Genesis to the end of Deuteronomy when he went into that mountain and died. So the mind, by reading these laws, commandments, and statutes, this is the mind and the mentality of God. This is the way God thinks, man. This is the reason why I always stress the point of reading. And when that came to my mind, I'm like, wow, man. 40 days and 40 nights, he in that mountain receiving everything and sucking up everything from God, from the source.
Lord, history,
everything, man. Everything. Some things, God gave him a command and told him right in the book. Some things wasn't written. Some things wasn't written.
Certain details
Was left out.
That's correct.
Let's go into Exodus chapter 19.
Exodus chapter 19. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai.
Right?
But they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mountain.
They're before the mountain. They're before Mount Sinai right now. Okay, read.
And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob.
Moses went up to God. He went up in that mountain. And when he went up in that mountain, what God told him?
Thus thou shalt say to the house of Jacob.
Thus thou shalt say to the house of Jacob.
And tell the children of Israel. Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians.
He said, you seen what I did to the Egyptians. You witness my wondrous acts, my glorious. We want to witness everything what I did to these Egyptians. What took place? What happened? You seen my glory.
And how I bear you on eagle's wings.
How I bore you on eagle's wings.
And brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you
why did God take the nation of Israel to himself? Because he made that agreement with Abraham. He made that agreement with Abraham. And because Abraham was so faithful to God, that's the reason why he made that agreement with him. Because he was faithful. Abraham was a faithful man. Abraham was a man that you didn't have to show him no evidence. God told him, listen, take your son, your only son, and go kill him. He ain't have to show him no proof. He said, man, all you have to do is command me. Abraham believed in God with no proof. So when he went to go kill Isaac, Moses sent the angel down. Sent the angel down and said, hold up. He said, called his name twice. Abraham. He says, now I know that you believe in me. He said, now I know that you believe in me, man. Sent the angel down to stop him.
Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, I keep my covenant.
Obey my voice, keep my covenant.
Then ye shall be a peculiar treasure.
That's the only thing that's gonna make you special in the eyes of God. By keeping the covenant and hearkening to what God says. That's what makes us special. That's what makes us a peculiar treasure. If we not hearkening to God and coming to some type of agreement with God without making excuses, then you're not special. God ain't gonna look at you as special, and he ain't gonna treat you as special. Because remember now, we don't know exactly. We don't have no birth records of who we are. Okay. We don't have any birth records of who in the world we are. And so the only thing that tells me who you are is how you live. Right. He said, my people shall hear my voice. A stranger will not follow. So you may have a father that is gun-ho for God's law, but then you may have a son that don't have the same ferventness for God. I'm God's people and you ain't. You ain't. Because this is not going by nativity or deed. This is going by your lifestyle, what you chose, your ways and your actions. Okay? That's why the Most High said, he said, my people shall hear my voice. So who's God's people? God's people are the ones that hearken to his laws and his covenant. You agree with God. Tamshi.
If you will obey my voice indeed.
Obey my voice indeed.
And keep my covenant. Then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine.
The whole earth belongs to me. But guys gonna be special. All these nations belong. He said, but you guys gonna be special. Because God has revealed something, the things that please him. God has revealed to the nation things, ways, ordinances, the things we do in our life. If there is a certain order that pleases God, and there are certain things that displeases him. We have it right here. We have it right here. We read about it every day. It's one way. There's only one way to please God.
Only one way to be perfect.
That's it. Tamshi.
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
And ye shall be to me a kingdom of priests. That's because, look, the priests at one point in time led the nation. It was the ones that led the nation until the king came about. But the priest, the high priest, led the nation. And we was better off then. We'd have been better off with the priest leading the nation. Because we had more evil kings, more bad kings than good kings that came about. Read.
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
Kingdom of priests.
And a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee.
He said, I came unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear. You know, that sight was a great sight to behold.
No joke, man.
They heard the voice of God coming out of that mountain. The voice of God coming out of that mountain. You know what that is? They saw that mountain skipping. They saw a lot of things, and it still didn't trigger them. It still didn't trigger them.
See, they quickly turned aside.
Quickly turned aside from God and turned towards idols and deities. Quickly, because when you come to serve God, you have to leave off from your past. Most people can't. Most people don't. They're just doing this for a reason, for convenience. But most people don't leave off from their past. Tom C.
Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses,
that should have been enough. He said, I came to you in a thick cloud so that the people may see it and believe me. And that's what made Abraham different from these people. This is what makes us different from the people. You know why I put us in it? Because we ain't seen nothing. We ain't seen nothing. So now you have to program yourself to believe everything that I don't read, that I don't read to be true, to be facts. You got to train yourself to believe that. Nobody can make you believe nothing. That's work. That's self-work on self, on yourself. So we have to train ourselves to believe the things that we read without proof. That's blind allegiance. That's called blind allegiance. Right. And you're not going to believe every word in this book messing around, transgressing presumptuously, doing things on your own. The first thing, you have to bend yourself to the will of God. That's it. You have to yield yourself to the will of God, because all these things comes in steps and stages. You're not going to just believe out the clear blue. I'm not going to believe in clear blue. It takes work on yourself. So it takes work. How can you show that you're working on yourself? You're praying every day. Every now and then you're praying. Every now and then you pick up a book, you read, you keep your mind stayed on God, you put forth action towards his laws. In time you will believe, because it takes work putting in order to start believing. If I ain't putting no work in, you ain't gonna believe nothing. You ain't gonna believe nothing. So all you doing and all we doing is setting ourselves back. That's right. Setting ourselves back so that we can't move forward. Setting ourselves back so that we can't move forward. Because there's going to come a time where God is going to build a dam. You know what a dam is? A dam is when they build some type of wall to stop water from passing. When God built that dam, he blocks you. The water goes somewhere. He blocks you, and he puts a limit on your brain to where only a certain amount of information you will be able to transmit and take in. That's right. The rest of the stuff that you take, that you hearing, you ain't gonna be able to take it in because God blocked you. So it go in and seep right out to the other side of your ear. It leaves. Because God done put a block on your mind. He put a block on your productivity in these laws. He put a block on your spirit. So you just all blocked off. That's right. Why? Because the work in your hands done called. You done called it to yourself because we refuse to show respect for what God said to respect. Number one, respect God. That's number one. And in order, when you respect God, everything else, I'm not going to name names, but everything else comes into play. Everything else that God said to honor and respect will be honored and respected because you're respecting and honoring the head honcho first. So you're going to feel not a delight. You're going to have the will. You're going to have the will to respect everything that God said respect because you're going to say, man, listen, God said respect this and I respect God, so I got to respect what God said respect it. That's it. You're not going to get that mentality messing around, Hector. You're not going to get it because we're playing too much. And when you play and play around with God, you know what happened? You find yourself like this. Thumbs out. You find yourself on the outside. You find yourself on the outside looking in. Next thing, you're not building no strength. You're not building yourself to have strength in God so that when you get older, you stay. It keeps you anchored. It keeps you anchored and grounded. Because 90% of the children today coming up is going to be heathens. Mark my words. All these little 16s and 15 and 17-year-olds talking beating. Yeah. Watch the same ones. These same little dudes out here talking. You'll see. Mark my word. Because where are they getting the strength from? The father's not emanating no strength. So where's the strength coming from in the child? And where? Where is it coming from? So we have to build at least. Listen. Why I say that? I'm gonna give you a great example. Throughout our whole life, my father has emanated strength for God.
Still.
My father has emanated and showed strength for God. So you can see where the strength for God came from in his seed. In his seed. And this thing here, I read about it. Sometimes it'll hold and some will not hold. But I'm a hold one. I'm a hold one, maybe two. Everybody may not hold, but one, maybe two may hold. But that's because the Father emanates strength from God. So when you don't have a head that emanates strength, someone that you can suck off, that's what I'm trying to prove. Someone that you can suck strength from. All right? And because the man or the person that you're sucking strength from, you know where his strength lies? In God. Because there's nobody that can match with him with what he's doing. So how in the world I'm going to get strength from you? And you're not showing your strength in God. You're not showing no push. So therefore, I say this to say that it's very important that the fathers emanate and show strength for God to hold their children in this, but the fathers are not emanating strength. The fathers is walking around with Caesars, and they cutting their child hair at 6, 7, and 8 years old. Got haircuts. No, man. Tom C.
And the Lord said unto Moses, verse 10, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow.
Sanctify them today and tomorrow.
And let them wash their clothes.
Let them wash their clothes. And be ready against the third day. Be ready against the third day. For the third day,
the Lord will come down in the sight.
God is going to come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And today, that mountain is sectioned off. Not just every and anybody could touch that mountain. Listen here, man. It's too much proof. It's too much proof that's been shown. It's too much proof that's been shown that this great God exists. Because scientists and archaeologists just showed that sulfur, the whole area, the whole mountain range is full of sulfur. They said like it's been burning for a very long time. When God finished getting that fire just didn't go out right away. That thing stayed burning. Burned for a while.
Moses was up.
Yes. It burned and burned. Scientists said, man, he said sulfur is on the whole mountain range. They gave proof that Lot's wife being held up with chains covered in salt. They showed proof that Sodom and Gomorrah, he said, I think Zechariah was telling me, he said the whole land of Sodom and Gomorrah is not sins, but he said he said some type of brimstone.
Yeah,
he said some type of certain type of stones that was in fire
that don't exist.
Nothing goes there. Don't exist nowhere.
There's no other rocks like this.
No, right.
Came from up there.
Came from heaven. Came from God. So the only way to substantiate this in yourself, you have to build off that by reading and making and putting work on yourself to believe these things that we read. Tom Sheen.
And be ready against the third day.
Be ready against the third day.
For the third day, the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people.
What verse you at?
12.
Okay, go ahead.
And thou shalt set bounds unto the people.
Set bounds around the mountain, read.
Round about, saying, take heed to yourselves that ye go not up into the mountain.
Take heed to yourselves that you go not up into the mountain.
Or touch the border
touch the borders of it. Read.
Whosoever toucheth the mountain.
Whosoever toucheth the mountain
shall be surely put to death.
Shall surely be put to death. You're going to die. Read.
There shall not a hand touch it. But he shall surely be stoned. Or shot through. Whether it be beast. Or man. It shall not live. When the trumpet sounded long, they shall come up to the mount. Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not
at your wives. So it seemed to say the time that God gave man to clean himself from his woman was from when evening coming. He said, "He shall be clean." But for God, that's not good enough. He said, "Don't come at your wives. I need 3 days." It takes 3 days to be clean, to be before the presence of God. Oh, I had sex with my wife. I'm just going to wash and be clean. That's not enough for God. That wasn't enough. It took 3 days to be clean. Anybody that went against that, the wrath of God would have broke loose. It ain't going to be no commandments being spit out. The plague's going to go out. People going to die.
He said, be ready.
Tom Sheep.
And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders, lightning, and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount. And the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Lord said to Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also which come near to the Lord sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. And Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. The Lord said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people.
You have to reiterate it again. Listen, go and warn them.
Warn them.
God said, well, he said, man, I know the people. He said, go warn these dudes, because if they break through to come gaze and look, he said, I'm going to kill them.
They said, away.
I'm going to kill them. Listen, they're going to get shot through. Tom, see?
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, and out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. We served the Egyptians for 430 years. And when they left Egypt, they had the mentality of Egyptians.
That's right.
We have children, 2 Hebrews, a man and a woman. And that tells you right there, the heathenistic mentality is in us naturally. Our DNA is nothing but heathenism, because you ain't never taught the child nothing about paganism, but he's born or she's born with a heathenistic mentality. Which means, listen, we got work to do on ourselves. By weaning this type of mentality out of us, we need to read and include God, include these laws. Right? Now, we live, go ahead, read.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Now, go ahead. Now, thou shalt have no other gods before me. You can't put nothing before the Creator. All right? You can't put nothing before the Most High. Read.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Now, a graven image is anything that is carved. You see these staves that these people is taking staves and carving animals and lion heads. That's a graven image.
That's right.
That's a graven image.
That's right.
He said, don't make, or you shall not have a graven image. A graven image of what? Or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. What part don't you understand? He said you cannot have it. He didn't call it an idol. People say, oh, it's an idol. This is not an idol, a graven image. A graven image is an image or a likeness that's engraved. All right? Or any likeness, we call it temuna, that goes into pictures of anything that is in the heaven of the Israelites. Been having a problem with this for years. For years. I throw little hints here and there when I spoke about teraphims. He said little household gods of human figures. That should tell you right there. But it's still small little figures, but it still didn't click. It still didn't click. Read.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven
image,
or any likeness of
anything
that is in the heaven above, that is in the earth beneath, that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God.
You shall not bow down to them. You shall not worship them. Another form of worship is admiration. Admire is worship, and worship is admiration. Okay, read.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers.
I will visit, or I will remember, remember or visit the sins of the fathers upon the sons. God is going to remember my sins upon my son. Right? Now, if I don't want God to remember or visit my sins upon my son, then I have to be the one that build that breach. I got to stop sinning presumptuously so God don't visit my iniquities on my own children. Read.
Unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
Unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. And every day we show our hatred for God. Every day we show our hatred for God because when we sin presumptuously, we can say that's the reason that we hate God. That shows hatred for God. Because God gave us a command and we go against the command. That shows hatred to God. But in the same chapter tells us how we can show our love for God. How we can show our love for God. Read.
And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me.
And showing mercy. He said, I will show mercy to thousands of them that love me and what?
Keep my commandments.
And keep my commandments. So if you love God, you will keep his laws. You'll keep his commandments. You'll keep his commandments. And that's how you show your love for your parents. By honoring and respecting them.
Same system.
Honoring, it's the same system. You show your love for your father and your mother by honoring and respecting what they say. You'll live longer. You'll get rid of sins by honoring your father. You will put a treasure aside for yourself in a day of necessity when you honor and respect your mother. But when you dishonor them, you ain't gonna live long. You're gonna die. You ain't gonna live long.
That's one of the keys in life.
That's it. Tamshi.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
He said, don't take God's name in vain. Right? He said, because he will not hold him guiltless. You will not be guiltless if you take God's name in vain. Now, to profane the name of God means to make it common. To make common means you use it regularly. You use it regularly. Every day you're using it. And Amos, it speaks about, he said, hold our tongue. For we should not make mention of the name of God.
The prophet said that.
The prophet said that. That's right. Tamshi.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The only way we can the only way we can learn the rules of the Sabbath is by reading. A burden is anything that is carried. Don't leave out your house with nothing in your hand, because anything that is carried is a burden. You'll never see me pass that threshold with nothing in my hand. Nothing. And how true, like I said, the example I gave and how true it is because that day when I was outside with that basketball, I didn't go leave the house with no basketball. I tied the leash to my belt buckle and walking them. So the dog started barking at the ball, and I don't know what came into me, but I'm telling the dude that throw me the ball, it's on Shabbat. But the dude is like, no, 3 times. Another dude, that was God, but I ain't pick it up. Another dude snatched the ball, threw it to me. I caught it like this. I said, damn. I said, what in the world am I doing? I said, what am I doing? That quick. That's how I know you're not supposed to be holding nothing in your hand. That's how I know. That quick. That quick. But one thing I know and I realize when I read, the adversary only turn and attack the ones that has a determination to serve God. That's what the adversary channel his attention on. So he gonna make you and put certain things in your mind to do, to throw you off to do that against God. Now you got to think and not move according to emotions. Because if you move with emotions, you're not gonna be able to see that. You ain't gonna be able to see it and peep it. You ain't gonna be able to see it. Tamshi.
6 days shall thou labor.
6 days shall thou labor.
And do all thy work.
And do all thy work. He said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Exodus 16 speaks about the word hekinu. Hekinu means to prepare, arrange, to prepare, arrange, to set up. So everything is prepared, everything is arranged and set up already.
That's right.
Okay? Whatever is not in this room, we cannot go elsewhere to bring it.
That's
Leave
right.
everything in each room
That's right.
because you're setting up. Everything is already set up already. Leave it there. Leave it there. Go ahead, read.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the
Now,
Lord thy God.
He said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Read.
In it, thou shalt not do any work.
Thou shalt not do any work.
Thou,
Thou,
nor thy son,
your son,
nor thy daughter,
your daughter,
thy
your
manservant, nor
manservant,
thy
your
maidservant,
maidservant,
nor thy cattle,
nor your cattle,
nor thy stranger,
nor the stranger that is within your gates. Within your gates. The only thing that had gates is cities.
Right.
It wasn't talking about everything that's in your house, because if you're not inside, if you're not within the gates, you don't have to worry about that. Everybody is following the rules.
That's right.
Within the gates, yeah.
But now we don't have gates, so now I transfer it and channel it over to the house, my household, because we ain't a nation no more and we don't have our land. So everybody that's within these walls have to follow the rules of the Sabbath day. Have to follow these laws within here. If you're not following these rules, then you have to find somewhere else to go.
Definitely.
You got to find somewhere else to go.
Definitely.
So it's adding in you, nor your son, your daughter, your manservant, and your maidservant. Now that right there should have triggered something. Why I say that? Because if God is added, what's the job of the maid and the manservants? To serve you. So if they can't serve you, why in the world do you think you can serve me? And that was the point I had to tell a brother before. I said, listen, when the Most High say your manservant and your maidservant, what was their job? To serve the master, right? They couldn't even serve their master on that day. So what makes you think you can serve me?
Off that day.
What makes you think you can serve me? You can't serve me. So you mean if people is thirsty, I can't just pour? I said, what's wrong with you, man? Let him get his own water.
Okay.
What's so hard?
Let him get his own drink.
What's so hard with that?
That's it.
That's right.
Read.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is.
God is proving the point. God could have made all that in a second. He didn't have to take 6 days.
Right.
But he's proving the point and giving you an example of what to follow, who to follow. He said the Most High made everything. For 6 days, the Lord made the heaven and earth, the sea and all that in the midst, and rested. The word for to desist, to stop. Okay? He desisted on the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord, and that's the reason why the seventh day is blessed. That's why God blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, because he desisted from creating. He stopped creating on that seventh day. Tamshi.
Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Read.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Honor. Kabed et abika ve imeka. It means also the glory, to glorify. Now, honor also means to live up to or fulfill the terms of. When you fulfill the terms of your parents, you fulfill the conditions of your parents. Right? Tamshi.
That thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder.
Thou shalt not murder. Look to his eye. You can't take a life that's not justified by God.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Now, adultery for a man is when he cohabitate with a married woman. And adultery for a woman is when she cohabitate with any man, with a man besides her husband. He's not your husband. You shouldn't be lying with him. Tamshi.
Thou shalt not steal.
No tigno. Steal, rob, and deceive. Read.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
You should not answer according. You shouldn't answer to something that you wasn't a witness of.
It wasn't a witness.
And if I tell you I didn't see it, don't get angry at me for not seeing it. I don't know what took place. I wasn't there, so don't put me in that. Read.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house.
Covet means to desire, to lust. Covet, lust, and desire thy neighbor's house. And you know, people today will lust and covet what you have.
That's right.
That's all the same. Don't want what somebody else have.
That's right.
You should not covet what someone else has. You shouldn't desire what someone else has. Tom G.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor.
That is thy neighbor's. Now let's go to Leviticus 23. Leviticus 20, chapter 23.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast.
Concerning the feast, right? And the word for feast is moadeh, meaning appointed times and appointed seasons. Concerning the appointed times that God set up, according to the appointed seasons that God has set up. Okay? Now we're going to go through all the appointed times that God has set up. I don't want to hear anything that I'm not reading here. I don't want to hear that this is the new year, because I didn't read nowhere in Leviticus 23 where God called it a new year.
There's no such thing.
You know what he called it? Yom Teruah, the day of the blast. Stop including the year, a secular year. Where you get the explanation of this from? Because I never read it here. And that is our problem, because we always want to include and add on to what God says. We always want to include and add on so that we can be the same like the nations round about us. They have a new year. We want a new year. And the brother said it's Judaism. That's all it is. That's it. Head of the year. Tom She.
Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations.
Holy convocations. Concerning the feast, concerning the appointed times of God. He said, ye shall have a holy convocation. A holy convocation is a holy gathering. What makes the convocation holy? What we speaking about. This is holy. When we're out of this holy convocation, that's it. Tom She.
Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done.
6 days shall work be done. He gave us 6 days to do what we have to do. Every 6 days to do what we got to do.
But the seventh day
is the Sabbath of rest.
A holy convocation.
A holy convocation.
You shall do no work thereon. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts.
It is a Sabbath to the Lord. It's talking about the seventh day. And you don't see Sabbaths. It's talking about the seventh day. It is a Sabbath to the Lord in all your dwellings. Means wherever I'm at, I have to honor the seventh day.
The Sabbath, not a Sabbath.
I don't have people say, oh, you can't honor the seventh day here. You got to wait till you're home. Nowhere in the book says that.
In all your dwellings.
He said, in all your dwellings, honor this day. Which is the seventh day, which is Saturday. Tom She.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations. Why you have people observing, talking about Sunday is the Sabbath, because Rome has changed the order of the Sabbath from the seventh day to the first day of the week, which is the sun god, in honor of the sun god. Tom She.
These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons.
Read.
In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
Passover. It was only one Passover. There ain't no more Passover. The only Passover was when the death angel passed over Egypt. And the death angel didn't go in to the house that had the blood on the doorpost. It's only one Passover. What we are observing is the Feast of Unleavened Bread.
Yeah.
And to be for real, all these holidays was observed, the 3 appointed times was observed in Jerusalem.
You have to go.
You gotta go to
It's
Jerusalem.
not valid unless you
So it ain't valid unless we are in Jerusalem. But I continue to do this to keep our mind right.
Yeah.
That means we
Keep
ain't
us
gonna
grounded.
never do it because we ain't going in Jerusalem.
That's going.
We ain't going back. You know where you're gonna die at? Right here.
Wherever you at.
Wherever you at, that's where you're gonna die at. That's where you're gonna die at. Tom see.
7 days he must eat unleavened bread.
7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. In Hosea chapter 7, it tells you how you make the bread leaven. And you make the bread leaven by kneading.
That's correct.
It begins, the leavening process begins when you knead the dough. I never read where it gave you a specific time.
True.
Why do we continue to say these things about it gives you a certain amount of time before the leaven set in? We have to learn to read the book
That's Judaism.
and stick to what the book says without adding on. Because if I ask you about where it says that in here, about the time, if you can't show me where it says that about the times, then don't leave me or miss me with it.
That's Judaism too.
Miss
brother.
me with it, because you get that time from Jews, from the Jews,
That's where it comes
because they take the matzos and knead it to death,
Machine.
and put it right
knead
in
it
the
to
thing.
death,
Beat it.
knead it to death, bake it,
Right.
and it's like crackers.
That's
That's
right.
not the bread.
That's right.
You ain't what we forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
The bread of
affliction.
affliction.
Mm-hmm.
Crackers, those crackers is not the bread of affliction.
It's not bread, right?
It's not.
It's not bread.
It's not even bread.
And it's like
It's crackers.
That's right.
It's leaven.
That's right.
And that's what we need to realize, man. If we keep everything according to what we read, we'll be better off.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be better off.
stick to that.
But it ain't for us to be better off.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't for us to be better off with God. Because some people, God don't want.
That's right.
Some of us, God is leading us towards that way.
Mm-hmm.
God is leading us towards that way.
That's right.
So,
Sad.
Tamshi,
And the first day, you shall have a holy convocation.
a holy convocation on the first day, a holy gathering on the first day.
You shall do no servile
Ye
work.
shall do no servile work. The word for servile work is meleket aboda, melaka and abad. Abad means to serve. Melaka is work. It ain't talking about work from your job. And Passover is the only day. It says, save that which ye shall eat. That's the only day I can cook on the first and the last day. No, I can't cook today.
No.
This is Yom Teruah, and they don't say save that which ye shall eat on that day for Yom Teruah. So all my food has to be prepared from before sunset yesterday. Okay? I can kindle fire because it ain't the holy Sabbath.
Right.
It ain't Shabbat, Shabbaton. The only day that holds that title of Shabbat, Shabbaton is Yom Kippur. That's the reason why the TVs and the
That's why
music,
everything else
everything
is
off. I could kindle my fire, but What am I
That's it.
kindling the fire for?
Nothing else.
No reason to kindle the
Unless you
fire.
need heat.
And Yom Kippur comes in next month.
Yeah.
Next month, towards the beginning of October,
Yeah.
on a Wednesday.
Right.
On a Wednesday.
It's 10 days after.
That's right.
Always remember Yom Kippur coming 10 days after.
Huh?
Yom Kippur do not trump Shabbat.
Yom Kippur don't run Shabbat. Any day, let me explain
Yeah,
this.
make this clear. Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
day,
make it clear.
any of God's appointed
Appointed
times that comes on Shabbat, the rules of the Shabbat supersede it.
That's right.
That's correct.
That's right.
That never happened.
The rules of the no never happened.
Right. It's
Never happened because everything is all jumbled up, and this is what God gave us. So now
We gotta
we gotta
work with
show God how fervent we are with whatever He gave us, so that He can give it to us when it's time, and we'll get it correct, and we'll be
That's
doing
how
it.
it goes.
But right now,
But
we gotta show how fervent we is doing it the wrong way.
Bring up. Put you through the bring up.
We gotta show how fervent we is with God doing it the wrong way before we get it right.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He's sticking into it, and it's the wrong
Okay.
way.
Right. And
That's what he wanted.
that's what you want to
That's right.
see. Tom sheet.
But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days.
7 days, read.
And the 7th day is a holy convocation.
The 7th day is a holy convocation.
You shall do no servile work therein.
No malaka, no malekera.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you,
When you come into the land,
which I give unto you, and ye shall reap the harvest thereof,
reap the harvest thereof.
then ye shall bring a sheaf
Bring a sheaf for
of
the first fruits
fruits of your harvest
of
unto
your
the priest.
harvest unto the priest. Your first fruits, the first fruits that comes up goes to the priest.
First thing.
You know what the priest gonna do with it? He gonna eat it.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't burning it on the altar.
They don't leave the
Right.
grounds. They don't
He ain't burning it on the altar. They gonna eat that.
That's right.
They gonna eat it.
Yeah, him and his family. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow, after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it.
On the morrow after the Sabbath. So the waving don't goes down until after the Shabbat. And then after that, what happens?
And you shall offer that day, when ye wave the sheaf, a he lamb without blemish,
Without
for the first
blemish.
year, for a
First
burnt
year
offering.
for a burnt offering
unto the
unto
Lord.
God. Read.
And the meat offering thereof shall be 2 10 deals
Of fine flour
mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Lord, for a sweet savior. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the fourth part of a hin. And ye shall eat neither bread.
You shall eat neither bread. The word for bread is lechem. That's bread with yeast. You shall eat neither lechem
Nor parched corn.
nor parched corn. Lechem with quali cardamel. With cardamel.
Nor green ears.
No green ears.
Until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings.
Read.
And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath.
That's when the counting begins. The counting of the Omer starts on the morrow after the Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the reason why people started doing the Passover, not the Passover, the 50th day on certain days.
Yeah, everybody
Because
has
if
different
the end of the Feast of Unleavened Bread didn't end on Shabbat, and then when the sun go down, you start counting. If it didn't end on Shabbat and it end on Thursday or Wednesday, then they ain't gonna start counting. They're gonna wait to start counting and start counting after the Shabbat.
That's Sabbath.
And all of that,
Again, it always landed on the Shabbat.
right? And that's right. Back home
Right.
in Jerusalem, they always ended on Shabbat.
That's why I said tomorrow after the Sabbath.
Right.
After the Sabbath.
So it don't make sense to do that because even the day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread is wrong.
The whole setup.
So if you wait, the whole setup is wrong. So if you wait till after Shabbat to count, it's still wrong. So what's the sense? I might as well just humble myself and follow what God gave me. Follow the calendar that God put Most High put the Jews
What was
to come up with this calendar. Follow it.
One note.
Huh?
One note. To back everything up you said. The month September, S-E-P-T, Sept, means seven.
7
But what they have that as?
first day, third
No,
day.
the month of
New Year.
September is the 9th month.
Mhm.
Right.
But it's September means 7th month. Something's off.
December.
October
December
means
that
8.
8. Yeah.
Like octagon, 8.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what? The 10th month.
December supposed to be the 10th month deck, but they got it as the
So
12th.
they got it as the 12th. March is named after Mars. It's
Yeah.
all messed up.
They had
Everything's
13
messed up.
months. They had 13 months.
Mhm.
Yeah, right? They had 13 months.
Yeah.
Like in like 1400 something. A little earlier than that.
They
cut
added
it to
on.
12. They cut it to 12.
Yeah, they cut days.
It was
Now you got
13
leap
months.
year.
Yeah, it was 13 months.
I want to get the name of that.
Time sheet.
And you shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days. And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Ye shall bring out of your habitations 2 wave offering, 2 loaves of 2 tent deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baking with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Lord. And ye shall offer with the bread 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, 1 young bullock and 2 rams. And they shall be for burnt offering unto the Lord, with their meat offering and their drink offerings, even an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord. Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them.
We can't do none of these
This
offerings,
supposed to
man.
be done.
But it's been
All that's supposed to be done in Jerusalem.
All that's supposed to be done.
All that gotta be done in Jerusalem.
Be accepted.
That's right. That's right. To be accepted. And this is why what we doing here is not
It's
accepted.
not accepted.
We just doing it for
Keep us-
commemoration.
Keep us grounded.
To keep us grounded. But none of that is accepted because God ain't gonna change what He has set up. Okay, because of you put yourself in this predicament for me not to accept and do away. Look, what God said stands. He said, man, I do away with all your offerings, with your festivities. I do away with all that. So you put us in the spot to where we don't have a priest and we can't go through with this offerings. So God ain't going to accept it anyway.
He's sacrificing the devils.
God ain't going to accept it anyway because we can't do no offerings here. We can't do no waving no loaves here.
You better not wave.
None of that is accepted because it was already set up that we need to be in Jerusalem. We need to be home. Talking about home, that's my home. And when the person start thinking that way and moving that way, that tell you how the person think. Yeah, he was born in Panama, but the man said, man, I'm not a Panamanian.
That ain't me.
He said, my ancestor was brought here on stinking slave ships. He said, my home is Israel.
That's right.
But you have a lot of Israelites that's calling Panama and Trinidad
Jamaica.
and Tobago, Guyana, all these places home. You still look at yourself as a Panamanian.
It's true.
You forgot my pops is from Guyanese, but you ain't no Guyanese. You're a Hebrew, man. Get your mind frame out of that. Time sheet.
And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Lord. With the 2 lambs, they shall be holy to the Lord for the priest. And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be a holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance.
He said, when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest.
We ain't doing this for no reason.
Don't clean it. Don't take everything and gather everything and leave nothing there.
Clean everything out.
Because these laws teaches us to have a heart. You can't just think about yourself.
That's right.
A person that just think about himself can't serve God. You can't serve God, and God ain't going to accept you in that manner, because all you do is think about self. If it benefits yourself, what about something that doesn't benefit me, but it benefit you?
They call that sacrifice.
Okay, you gotta sometimes you gotta sacrifice yourself
You can't
for
take
God.
You can't take no gold up, but you can sacrifice.
For God, and I will only do that and move that way with my people. With my people. Because people are, you gotta know who to move that way with.
You can't do that way.
These are different times. The mentality of our forefathers here and people mentality today is not the same. So I gotta watch how I'm dealing with certain people. Time sheet.
And when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest, neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am the Lord your God. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the first day
of the month,
shall ye have a Sabbath.
Shall ye have a Sabbath?
A memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation.
Shall ye have a Sabbath? First day. Like him, Shabbaton. It says Shabbaton. Shabbaton is a general strike, a work stoppage, but it doesn't say Shabbaton.
That's the difference.
That's the difference between today and the Sabbath. And I noticed a brother said this Shabbat. He said we treat the days like today like it's Shabbat. He said no.
Switched.
He said today is a turn up time.
That's right.
You want to have a unity Shabbat? Have it today.
Set up.
Have it today. But it's a Shabbaton. But it ain't Shabbaton like the Shabbat. The only day that hold that is Yom Kippur, right? It says, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath, a Shabbaton, right? A Shabbaton, Zikron. Zikron is a memorial. Teruah. Zikron, Teruah, Mikra Kodesh. A holy convocation, a holy gathering. You shall do no servile work. You shall do no servile work. Kal meleket abora, lo ta'asu. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Now, what is Malaka and what is Abad? Right? Now, Malaka is work, and work, trade, vocation, occupation, workmanship. So whatever these words cover, when you look them up in the English, you got to stay away from it. Vocation, that has to do with like school.
Job, skills,
trade, skills. I'm not going to have my kids sitting inside studying and doing homework. We ain't doing no homework today. We ain't doing no homework today.
That's right.
Because that falls under Malaka. Abad means to serve. Right, Tamshi?
You shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord thy God. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement.
10 days after that is the day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and you shall afflict your souls. How am I afflicting my soul? We add in, don't shower, don't brush your teeth. Well, I don't brush my teeth because I don't want no water coming in. All these things is added in. The only way to afflict your soul is what God said that I read here, by not eating.
Don't eat.
Don't eat, don't drink, lest you afflict your soul. Oh yeah. Because you won't feel how your spirit feel. Do you ever realize when you stop eating and drinking how your spirit feels.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're weak.
Yeah. Your body
And
is
most of the time, your spirit becomes elevated. It picks up.
weak.
You're more inclined towards God.
You don't think more about God.
You're gonna have your mentality, your thinking is gonna be towards God.
That's right.
That's how you afflict your spirit. Don't put on your new clothes. You gotta afflict your spirit. What that got to do with it? I could put on my new robe. No, put on the shabbiest robe, the ripped up. I ain't gotta do that.
That's right.
See?
I could put on a new robe. I could look good.
That's what other people do when they
My underarms smell. I need to put on some deodorant. The dude told me, don't put no deodorant on. Afflict your spirit. Afflict your spirit.
That's not going to do nothing to your spirit.
Where we getting all these terminologies in here from?
Well, you say there's only one way.
There's only one way to afflict your spirit,
Yes,
brother. And the actions that come with it, we read about it in the book. Right? We afflict your spirit, afflict your soul by not eating and drinking, by putting on sackcloth, by taking dirt and dust from the earth and putting it on your head.
Some did dumb.
Some did
Why
dumb.
don't you do that?
When David afflicted his soul, he laid in one spot and didn't move. He laid on the floor. You see, he was all over the earth. He was on the floor. He said, but when he found out his son died, he got up and anointed himself. So when you're afflicting your soul, you don't anoint yourself. Right, I ain't putting on deodorant, no oils. All right? So we learn how to afflict our soul by reading and what our fathers did to afflict them souls. Me putting on a new robe, they got nothing.
No, I don't have
nothing to do.
I don't have to wear yesterday's clothes.
No.
I could change my
Had nothing to do with me afflicting my soul. Nothing.
I got sackcloth under there.
No.
I use this side.
That's how you do it.
Tom Street.
Also, on the 10th day of this month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you. You shall afflict your souls.
Afflict your souls.
And offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
An offering made by fire to God.
And ye shall do no work in that same
day. You shall
day.
do no work therein on that day.
For it is the day of atonement.
To
make an atonement for you before the Lord your God.
For
whatsoever soul it be, whatsoever soul it be, that shall not be afflicted in that same day. Verse 29.
Okay.
He shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. You shall do no manner of work.
Okay.
It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings.
There you go.
Trickle down to right now.
There you go. There you go. Don't mess around and eat something on Yom Kippur. And you know, you had some Israelites that messed up and ate on Yom Kippur. Some forgot it was Yom Kippur and ate.
Some didn't know the day.
I can tell you about two people. I ain't gonna say no names, but this guy here that messed around and ate on Yom Kippur.
He didn't even know it was Yom
Kippur. God did not cut him off. But this guy's cut off.
He did it and he got cut.
Everybody, God deals with everybody differently.
That's true.
I can tell you, man.
And
I'm going to tell you the action. And he said, man, I ate a patty. Yeah. He found out that it was Yom Kippur and he spit it out.
Right, soon as
but God still continued to deal with that person.
Still leveled him up.
Still deal with him. Why? Because it's all God deals with the heart. Some people he pushed towards to do certain things so I can cut you off. That's my reason of you doing it. I want to cut you off. I don't want no more dealings with you. So you have your whole mentality is off. Yeah. His reason was different of why this happened. And the only thing I can say with that is that the adversary moved him.
It's a different thing going on.
Different thing going on with this guy here. Because if the adversary didn't move him, he wouldn't have hated it. If the adversary didn't move certain men in the book, they wouldn't have did what they did. So it was different situations. You did it so God could cut you off. because I already see what you have in you, and you don't want to do this. You don't have a desire to do these laws. But this guy here had a determination to do God's law. And if he knew, he wouldn't have never did it. So this got to be kept throughout your generations, in all your dwellings. Tom, she read. Now, when we keep Yom Kippur, your sins is get it through your mind. Your sins ain't going nowhere. The only way your sins move is if you got to move them. How do I move them? When I stop sinning presumptuously. Now it leaves. There is no clean slate. I started a new clean slate. What clean slate? Where you get that from? Because we need a high priest to go through with all this Yom Kippur stuff. The high priest gotta reiterate and transfer these iniquities on the head of the scapegoat, and then the man has to let go that scapegoat in the wilderness by a fit man. And then when he come back from letting that scapegoat go, he gotta go wash. So what makes you unclean? What makes you spiritually unclean? Sin. You see how heavy these things is? You see how heavy these things is? He said, we serve a God that hated iniquity. We serve a God that hates sin. And when we sin and break God's law, our spirit becomes unclean.
Corrupt.
Our spirit becomes corrupt. Our spirits start to build an opening for for sin to come into. Wickedness to come into. Read.
You shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest.
Sabbath of rest.
And ye shall afflict your souls.
And ye shall afflict your souls.
In the 9th day of the month at even, from even unto even, shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying,
what verse you at?
34. The 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days unto
That's
the Lord.
Feast of Booths. We definitely can't do that because people build little huts, go in there, say a prayer, come back out. No, when the booths, why they call Feast of Booths? It was Feast of Tabernacles.
That's right.
It ain't Feast of no booth. Sukkah is a tabernacle. And they built large, like a tabernacle in the wilderness, and they lived in there. We can't observe this correctly because we have to live in these booths, live in this tabernacle. Read.
On the first day shall be a holy convocation.
The first day is a Mikra Kodesh, a holy convocation.
Ye shall do no servile work.
You shall do no servile work, no malaka, no abad, no servant.
On 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation.
That's the Shemini Atzeret. On the 8th day, there's a holy convocation unto you. Right?
Right. And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Read.
It is a solemn assembly.
A solemn assembly.
And ye shall do no servile work therein.
Read.
These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering, and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day. Beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings, which ye give unto the Lord. Also on the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days.
That's the Feast of Weeks. Read.
On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take to you on the first day.
That's still Sukkot. Go ahead.
And ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees.
Boughs of goodly trees. Branches of palm trees.
The
boughs of thick trees.
And the
willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before God 7 days. Yeah, they grabbed all those during the Feast of Booth the feast of booth, and they rejoice before God with these things. Read.
You shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year.
Read.
It shall be a statute forever in your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths. That your generation may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Lord.
Okay, go to Apocrypha, go to Tobit chapter 4. Got it?
4.
Tobit chapter 4.
In that day, Tobit remembered the money in which he had committed to
You mean
David.
to tell me he ain't forget?
No.
I forgot. No, the wicked forget when they owe. A righteous man or the person that's determined to serve God, he not gonna forget that he owe you bread, that he owe you money. He ain't gonna forget that.
You ain't gonna forget.
Read.
In that day, Tobit remembered the money in which he had committed to Gabriel in wages of media.
And rages of media. Right? Now, that's what's supposed to come to mind. Yeah, I understand that you don't have it. And I'm not going to keep bugging you for it because you don't have it. But when you do get it, you should remember who you got to give and who did good to you. Who looked out for you. Because that's the person with a conscience. Most of us don't have a conscience. Most of us, when we forget the good that others did to us and hoard it. Hoard what we have and keep it. So God gave it to you to see if you're going to remember or call to mind the good that was done to you. Most of us don't think that way. Tom C.
And said with himself, I have wished for death.
Tobit said, man, I wish for death, man. He said, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to die, man. I'm ready to go.
You wish to die, man.
Tom C.
Wherefore do I not call for my son Tobias?
He said, man, I want to die, man. So I don't know what's going to take place with me. So let me call my son and give him some instructions. Give him orders. Tell him certain things that I want set up. I'm setting up certain things that I want done, that if I'm not here, I want this done. Read.
Tobias. Wherefore do I not call for my son Tobias, that I may signify to him of the money before I die?
Listen, which means the debt don't die.
When I die, he got.
If my father is in debt with some people and he dies, it's only righteousness that for his sons to take up his debt.
Inherit that debt.
Oh, who you owe? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, don't worry about it. My father owe you this, he does this. Don't worry about it. I got you. It ain't good. That's what I read.
When he had called him, he said, my son, when I am dead, bury me.
When I'm dead, bury me.
And despise not thy mother.
Don't despise your mother.
But honor her all the days of thy life. And do that which shall please her and grieve her not.
Do that which shall please her and don't make her grieve. Don't make her grieve. That's very heavy. Do we know what grief is? Grief. Grief is when you cause the person to suffer, right? An unfortunate outcome. When you go to jail, your mother grieves. That's not honor. So in order for her not to grieve, you have to say, I have to pull back and not get into this situation here. What's going to cause her to grieve by this happening to me? It's a chain reaction. There was a man named Lucky. And Lucky said, man, nah, I ain't selling no more drugs, man. I ain't doing that no more. I ain't doing this no more. He said, because, man, my mother is the only one. I'm the only one she got. He went to the laundry for his moms. He went to food shopping. He did everything for his mother. And when Lucky died, a couple days, she died. Because the woman's heart was all intertwined into him. Sounds like what Jacob was. Jacob's heart was into Joseph, and when they told him he died, he grieved. He grieved the whole time until he saw Joseph's face again. Tamshi.
And when he had called him, he said, my son, when I am dead,
Verse
4.
Read right, verse 4.
Remember, my son, that she saw many dangers for thee.
Remember, my son, that she saw many dangers for thee. When was this?
Thou wast in her womb.
When she was pregnant. You know what I mean? Woman sick up.
You old.
She said, man, I seen many. Look, child is breech. That didn't mean nothing in the book. You know why I say that? Because look at these twins.
They didn't come out like that.
They was rumbling and fighting. This guy stuck. Look, Freyres and Zila stick his hand out. She put the yarn on. He stick his hand back in. The other one come. He pops
like
out. She said, man, I was down broken for. He said, I'm going to call you Freyres. Because you guys broken for. None of that stuff about breach and the position of the child didn't mean nothing.
They didn't come out strangled.
No.
The umbilical cord around.
Didn't mean nothing. Tamshi.
And when thou wast in her womb, and when she is dead, bury her by me in one grave.
Yeah, when she dies, said make sure you put her in the same grave with me. Dig that up and throw it out there with me. Because we won. Said me and her is one. We won. That's my wife. I want her with me. Read.
My son, be mindful of the Lord our God.
Be mindful of God all thy days.
Okay.
And whatsoever you do is always be mindful of the Creator. Always. Because it's that quick. We could step right off the line.
Right.
We step right off that quick because we're not mindful of God. We're not mindful of the things that we're doing that is against God. And we go through with it. And then on top of that, we didn't want to hear that we violated and messed up.
No.
We didn't want to hear it because we move on the emotions.
Yeah.
We move so much on our own emotions. And right now it's all about me. So because it's all about me, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. And that mentality, we can't continue to think that way.
Right.
We can't. If you're trying to push towards being godly, there is a certain manner that we need to behold and take to ourselves. Tamshi.
My son, be mindful of the Lord our God all
Be
thy days.
mindful of the Lord our God all thy days.
And let not thy will be set to
Don't
sin.
allow your will to be set to sin and transgress. Don't allow yourself to be taken and ruled by the spirit of iniquity. Because it's a strong spirit. And it's such of a strong spirit that God said to rule it. Because if I don't rule it, it's going to succumb to whatsoever is given to it. So I got to rule that spirit. I got to rule that spirit and rule that spirit. Now, how do we rule the spirit? Anybody just can't rule that spirit because it's unruly. So in order to fortify yourself and strengthen yourself in ruling that spirit, I got to strengthen myself in God. Because there's a way to rule your spirit. If all right, there's a way to rule. Tamshi, read.
Or to transgress his commandment.
Do
uprightly all thy life long.
Do uprightly all thy life long. You know it's wrong. I can do things that is wrong to people. That's what it's talking about. You see, do uprightly by God. You said, make sure everything about you is upright. Be correct in all your doings. Be correct in all your doings, even when dealing with other people. You ain't tell yourself that what you're doing is wrong, and I'm offending this person. And that should be the thing that keep you from and keep you from offending the person by holding yourself back. But no, we don't do it. I don't give a hoot about it. Okay, well, go ahead. That's you. That type of mentality God don't want. Read.
Do uprightly all thy life long, and follow not the ways of unrighteousness.
Don't follow nothing that's wrong.
Mhm.
Don't follow the
people.
ways of unrighteousness. Okay? Tom She.
For if thou deal truly,
If
thy
you deal
doings,
truly,
thy doings shall
if
prosperously
you deal
succeed
truly,
to
you're
thee.
going to prosper. Read.
And to all them that live justly,
Read.
give alms of thy
Give
substance.
alms of thy substance.
And when thou givest
And when you
alms,
give alms,
let not thine eye be envious.
don't let your eye be envious.
Neither turn thy face from
Not
any
to turn
poor,
thy face from what?
from any poor,
From any poor.
and the face of God shall not be
And the
turned away
face
from
of
thee.
God shall not be turned away from thee. Right? Now, alms is what? Charity.
Charity.
Alms is charity. When you give giving alms makes atonement for your sins.
Yeah, that's another atonement.
Giving alms make atonement for iniquities. And he said, now when you do this thing, he said, and you don't turn your face away from a poor person, he said, God won't turn his face from you. He won't turn his face from you.
That's right.
Read.
If thou hast abundance, give alms according. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little.
Now that's law.
That is.
And I learned something because there been certain times that a person may need and I don't have it, and I say, well, you know what? I don't have it. I sin when I do that. You know why I say I sin when I say I don't have it? Because God said, he said,
Even if a little
and
bit,
he said, if I have a little,
give
give
according
according to what you have. I only have this. I can only give you this. I'm going to pinch off from what I got and give you this. I will never turn away nobody that's in need. Now, I cannot allow you to think that way. I can't make you think that way. Well, I came to you and asked you, and you told me no. Well, and he just got all this. Now, guess what? Watch. When he asked me, I ain't gonna get one of that. Make me the same like him. God gave it to him to see what he gonna do with it.
Right.
That's his trouble. That's his test. Now with you now, I don't have to deal that way. If I have a little, I'm gonna give you according to what I have, a little. I'm not gonna turn you away. Because God, you know what? This God is a compassionate and kind. He's gracious. You know what he's considering? You. How you feel. You know what that is to be turned away? Do you know what it is to be turned away? When you come and ask somebody, say, yo, man, I need this and this. Can I get pop? And the man or the person said, nah, I ain't got it. Now I gotta bust my brain to figure out who else I can go to. Everything I've been let down. Your heart drops.
Yes.
No, you know why I'm saying it? Because I've been through it. To where you ask and the person turn you away, your whole demeanor and your heart drop because you're expecting it. You're counting on it. Right. It's just like you're not getting paid. Your heart drop.
He set his heart upon it.
You set your heart upon
That's
it.
the feeling.
So that's what? A feeling. Those are feelings. That's a feeling. So God really gave us these laws to consider one another. God really gave us these laws to have a mind and love each other, man. Love. Consider that person's feelings, and in return, if you're following and you want to be godly, you'll consider mine too. But not because you don't consider me means I ain't going to consider you. And that's steps and stages with God that we will reach at certain times. We're not gonna get everything one shot. Read.
For thou layest up a good treasure.
For thou layest up a good treasure
against the day of necessity.
for thyself against the when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
When you need it, that's when it comes.
That's right.
That's when it comes. God burst out, come out of his place for you. Here you go. All that what you did in the past, all that good you did. He said, God repay you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about if you ain't getting paid from this guy. God gonna repay you.
That's right.
Read.
Because that alms do deliver from death.
Alms deliver from death.
And suffer it not.
Wait a minute. What do you mean alms deliver from death? It's gonna, by me giving alms, is gonna keep me alive?
Mm-hmm.
No. We gotta die.
Mm-hmm.
We all gotta leave the earth one day. So what death is this? What death is Tobin talking about? What is the death? Tom Sheep.
And suffer it not to come into darkness.
Suffer not to come into darkness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High.
Uh-huh.
Beware of all whoredom.
Beware of all whoredom, my son.
And chiefly take a wife of the
Take
seed
a
of thy
wife of the
fathers.
seed of thy fathers.
And take not a strange
Don't
woman
take a
to
strange
wife,
woman to wife,
which is not of thy
which
father's
is not
tribe.
of thy father's tribe, because they didn't marry out of their tribes. Every tribe married from within itself. From within itself. That's right. Read.
For we are the children of the prophets.
You're the children of the prophets. Noah,
Abraham,
Isaac,
Jacob. Remember, my son.
that
our fathers. From the beginning. Even that they all married wives of their own.
They married wives of their own kindred.
And were blessed in their
and
children.
were blessed in their children. You see what caused their children to be blessed? They didn't go aside and marry a woman of a strange nation that was entangled in Baal. They went and married a woman within their own people that had the same mentality and the same drive, the same views for the Creator. So how much more important, even today, are having an effect. It's very important. No, we don't have there's no nation right now, but it's very important to have your children with a woman that serve the same God you serve.
That's right.
Yeah. It's easier.
Because the only thing that's going to keep this in the way is the husband.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid you got to divorce the woman. It's a 50-50. Look, it's a 50-50 chance that you keep these children in these laws.
75, 25.
Probably 25-75.
Yeah.
But you just got to keep on this.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep on it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Sheep.
Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren.
Love thy brethren.
Despise not in thy heart thy brethren.
Despise not in thy heart thy brethren.
The sons and daughters
The
of thy
sons
people.
and daughters of your people.
And not taking a wife.
And not
of them.
taking the wife of them.
For in pride is destruction.
Pride
and much trouble.
is destruction. For in pride you destroy your own self.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And much trouble.
Uh-huh.
And in lewdness is decay and great want.
Uh-huh.
For lewdness is the mother of famine.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Let not the wages of any man which hath brought for thee tarry with thee.
Let not the wages of any man which hath worked for you, don't hold his wages. Pay the man at the end of the day when it's time to pay him. Read.
But give him out of hand.
Uh-huh.
And if thou serve God, he will also repay thee.
Uh-huh.
Be circumspect, my son, in all things thou doest, and be wise in all thy
Be
conversations.
circumspect. Verse that.
14.
I
Towards
see
the
it.
end.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Be
Be
circumspect,
circumspect, my son, in all things that thou do.
Be careful.
And be wise in all thy conversations. Listen.
Watch your mouth.
No.
Not
Watch
for
your
everything.
conversation.
Watch your mouth.
Watch your conversation. The conversation that you get in. That you get into. Certain conversations we shouldn't be talking about certain things. Certain things that is talked about is against God.
That's right.
So if we say we're godly and we're following God, then I'm not going to talk about the things that God hates. Be circumspect in the things that you do. The things that I'm doing that's not right, I should pull back from it. Don't do it. Read.
Do that to no man which thou hatest.
You hear that? Do that to no man which thou hatest. If you hate it, if you don't like it, why are you doing it to me? And you don't like it. And then when it's done to you, you get furious. That type of mentality is not
It's
good
unjust.
with God.
Unjust.
It's unjust. And that tells me that this is an unjust man.
That's right.
Don't be like that. No one's doing it.
Those certain actions would tell you if a man is unjust or not. Because if you're unjust, you would do things to people and dare the person to do it back to you.
True.
Make me have to snap and turn my neck and look at you. I almost broke my neck. Because those ways and those actions is not supposed to be in a person that's determined to serve God. A person that's like that, he don't have the determination to serve God. He can't serve God like
Like
Joshua
that.
told the
You're
people.
not able.
All you got to do is watch a person ways, watch how he thinks, watch the things that he do,
Actions. That's right.
and you will be able to tell if that person can serve God.
You don't forget about the talk. Just watch them. Just watch them.
You'll be able to tell if that person can serve God.
See if they perform what they taught. They won't do it.
You can be able to tell.
Yeah.
All you got to do is watch them.
That's right.
Watch them.
That's right.
Read.
Drink not wine to make thee drunken.
Drink not wine to make thee drunken. Read.
Neither let drunkenness go with thee in thy journey.
Don't let drunkenness go with you in your journey.
Okay, don't go out there drinking.
Give of thy bread to the hungry,
Give your bread to the hungry,
and of thy garments to them that are naked.
and of thy garments. Now, this is not law inside the first 5, but this is Tobit knows. This is instructions. These are instructions that Tobit
Is given.
is giving his son.
Right? This is how he wants him to be.
This is how he wants him to be. Right? Read.
And according to thine abundance, give alms.
According to your abundance, according to what you have, give
Let
alms.
not thine eye be envious when thou givest alms. Pour out thy bread on the burial
Of the just. Read.
but give nothing to the wicked.
But give nothing to the wicked. That's there's nothing to explain there.
Very simple.
He said, give nothing to the
Don't give
wicked.
You're not giving that. You don't serve God. You're not giving.
What are you going to explain that? How?
That's everybody.
How are you going to explain that? You can't.
Nah, we can't.
There is no explanation there. You can't explain it. So when it said, give nothing to the wicked, it means what it says. Don't give nothing to the wicked. And the wicked is who?
Whoever don't serve God.
One that do not serve God.
That's right.
That's anybody.
That's anybody.
That's anybody.
That's anybody. Okay? Why do you think Tobit said, he said, man, go and call the ones that's mindful of God.
Everybody can't come.
Everybody, don't call those, don't bring any and anybody here. He said, bring the ones that's mindful of God.
That's right.
And then later on in the next chapter, he done told his son, don't give nothing to a wicked person.
Yeah.
Don't give him nothing. And the man hearkened to his father and did exactly what his father said. He didn't come up with a erroneous idea or an opinion why he should give. Then you're going against the order and the instructions of your father.
Yeah, you're going against it.
Tamshi.
Ask counsel of all that are wise.
Ask counsel, not from anybody.
That's
Why
right.
I go to anybody? I want to ask, what's your First of all, you gotta look at the person and see if he's a wise man.
That's right.
You know who's a wise
You know
man
who's
from
wise.
who ain't
Everybody knows
wise.
that.
Everybody know
Everybody
that. I'm not gonna go to Stasher.
Just stack something.
I ain't gonna that. Time shit.
And despise not any counsel that is profitable.
Despise not any counsel that is profitable. That is not profitable. If it ain't profitable, don't. Wait, go back to that. That verse again. What verse you at?
Acts counsel of 18.
Ask counsel of all that are wise, and despise not any counsel that if it's profitable, then hearken to it. Hearken to it. You know whether it's profitable if it's good counsel.
Yeah, you know.
You know that. Bless the Lord thy God always. It's a good thing to bless God.
That's right.
Always.
That's right.
If Tobit said it, it means it has an effect in the heavens.
All these things are the things you should do.
Okay? So you can bless God by saying Baruch Elohim, but I like to bless God in prayer. Bend the knee and you say psalms of praises. And then at the end, this is why before the beginning and the end of my prayer is Baruch Elohim Minkomo Melech Elyon. Baruch it said, blessed is the Most High. Blessed be the name.
And talk good.
Tamshi.
Most High. Yeah. The
Read.
desire of him that thy ways may be directed. And that
He said, bless the Lord thy God always, and desire of him that thy ways may be directed. So that God direct your way in that correct path. God got to direct your ways. If God is not directing your ways, your ways will be off. Your ways is going to be turned off. You're going to be off the way.
Totally different.
To the right and to the left. But God got to direct your ways.
Totally different.
God got to direct your ways. So now, what is the way that God pleases in? We read about it here. The book shows us what is the way that God loves. The ways of God. Tamshi.
And that all thy paths and counsels may prosper.
That all your path and your counsels may prosper. Because your path and your counsel is going to prosper by God directing you. Read.
For every nation hath not counsel. But the Lord himself giveth all good things. And he humbleth whom he will.
He humbleth whom he will. And as he will. Whoever he sees that he needs to humble, he humble him.
That's right.
This guy's is not granted my mercy. I ain't showing him no mercy.
Right.
Oh, this guy is granted a little pity. I'll show him some pity.
Yeah.
We don't know why God do certain things.
And
We got to leave certain things to God.
leave that alone, man.
You got to leave that alone.
Yeah.
He knows.
Certain things got to be left alone. You see how the Most High is? I know a person that got hit by a car, went 20 feet in the air and still lived. Yeah, my cousin.
Yeah.
Panina.
Yeah.
Hit. Boom. Came that back. Lived. Look at yesterday. This one got hit by a car, went 20 feet and
I
dead.
know somebody got hit by 2 cars.
2 cars and still lived.
Got hit, got up, and got hit again.
Yeah. That's right.
Look at these things.
You gotta look at certain things. That person was wanted in the heavens.
Time to go.
It's time to go. Your cup has overflowed.
Yeah.
It is overflowing. Number one, look at your lifestyle. Look at your lifestyle. The cup has ran it over, sister. Time to go. Time sheet.
Now therefore, my son, remember my commandments.
Now therefore, my son, remember my commandments. We gotta realize something, man. Besides the commandments of God, parents have their own laws.
Yeah.
Parents have their own commands that they want their child to hearken
Listen.
to and listen to. Parents have that. You'll see when you have your own. You're gonna have your own laws that you're gonna have and tell your son, listen, don't ever do this. Don't do this. Make sure you do this all your life. You're gonna order your child accordingly. Read.
Remember, my son, my commandments, neither let them be put out of thy mind. And now I signify this today that I committed 10 talents to Gabriel, the son of Gabriel, at Rages in Media. And fear not, my son, that we are made poor, for thou hast much wealth. If thou fear God,
and much wealth if you fear God, and depart from all sin,
and do that which is pleasing
do that
in
which
his sight.
is pleasing in his sight.
Good.
The only thing that is pleasing in God's sight is this book, the things that we read in this book. This is how we please God.
Good.
And with that, I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna call up another speaker, teacher indeed, Chief Mika.
Giving all praises to the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, the respect to my father and my teacher and the leader, Chief Eleazar Ben Dodo, out of the tribe of Lewi. Princemen, chiefmen, mothers in Israel, brothers and sisters, I bid you out of the tongue of our forefathers, Yom Teruah Shalom.
Yom Teruah Shalom.
That's why God said, you heard my voice speaking out of the smoke. You didn't see no shape. You didn't see nothing. So you don't have no reason to have no image with you. God wanted all of that eradicated. And he did everything he does. Like I say, everything God do is a statement.
That's right.
He don't just do things to do things. And he does things the way he say do it. That's why when he tell his prophet, I want you to go down here to that guy and do this. But look, on your way there, don't stop and speak to nobody.
Yeah.
He didn't explain why, right or wrong.
Nope.
You just said it.
He said, don't touch and don't eat of that tree, lest you die. Did he explain? Did he go into explanation? Did he say, look, you ain't gonna die right away, but then now you're gonna know what good, and then you're gonna, and it's gonna, he didn't tell him all that.
No.
It's the order.
That's right.
It's the order. God shows us how to be a leader and how to follow who you're under.
That's right.
The order of everything is in this book, man. All right, we're gonna bounce around. We got 1 more hour, we're gonna bounce around. Genesis chapter 19. Do you know how long Moses was up there? 40 days and 40 nights. Now, the whole time, it said Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was, right? It was on smoke and on fire. And he was in there for 40 days and 40 nights talking with God, getting the secrets, getting the way. This is the way. This, I'm giving it to you. This is what your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and had. For 430 years, nobody had it. I'm giving this to you. Plus, I want them to see you coming in here to talk to me so they believe when you say something. That's what he said. He said, I want them so they can see me talk to you in the cloud so that they believe you. These were things, these were like, what you call them, boosters. That was supposed to be boosters for them, right? That was supposed to be, oh, wait a minute. So, all right, look. And it worked for a time because they said, look, you're going to go in there and speak with God, not us. We go in there, we're dead, which was true. That's why God said, away, get thee back down, get down there, and tell them stay away. Because if anybody come there, something going to shoot out at them and kill them. He said they're going to get shot. Sound like you got a gun or something, right or wrong. Say you're going to get shot. One of them angels, something going to come out the heavens and go through him. So it was an order with everything. Tell me.
And there came two angels to Sodom at even. And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face towards the ground.
Lot sat in the gate. That's why later on they popped their joint and said, this guy want to be a prince among us. You know who sits in the gate?
People that run stuff.
That the judges,
Judges.
the noblemen, people that run stuff. You get verdicts, judgments, punishments, corrections, fines. All these things go down at the gates of the city. The gates of the city is the entrance. Before you get past there, you're gonna see who running. These are the guys in Israel. Is the same way. This is a thing of old. Okay, so he sat in the gate at Sodom, and he seen two. He don't know they're angels. They look like men.
Mm-hmm.
Angels didn't come looking like babies.
No.
They didn't come looking like women.
No.
Some Israelite tried to show me up in the prophecy. He said, look, see, he said the vision of a woman. I said, brother,
It's a vision.
it's a vision.
These ain't.
You just said it. It's a vision. It's something that's supposed to look like
This was not a
female.
vision.
He saw it. This ain't no vision.
No.
These were angels that came down looking like men.
Right.
Because man was made in the image of God.
Right.
So there's similarities. There's two arms, there's two legs, there's a head. They call it bipedal. Bipedal is this humanoid form. We were patterned after that. So he see two men coming, and he rose up to meet them,
Mm-hmm.
and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground.
And he said, behold now, my Lord, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the streets all night.
Now, being Dane, he's like the mayor. He's like the host. This was the thing. Okay, strangers come in. This was the thing of old. Can't do this now. The strangers walking down the block, you can't take them in your house and feed them. Back then it was different. Come, because he said, come in your servant's house, wash you up, wash your feet up, you tarry all night, and then you could go on your journey.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently it's closer to the day's end. People didn't allow people to travel at night.
No.
Right or wrong?
No.
He said, oh man, no, man, don't go out there, man. Wait till the morning time. That's what the in Judges 19, the father-in-law. That's how he kept them there. He said, nah, it's getting evening again. You might as well stay again. But then that morning came, it was one morning that came, he said, nah, I'm gonna go back. And he went back. But they don't let people go out at night because it's dangerous at night. Back then and now. It's dangerous.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Verse 3.
Dear Toshi.
And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him. And then
They wasn't trying to stay there.
No.
They wanted to pass through. He pressed upon them.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning he kept
going.
He kept doing it. He wouldn't let up. He wouldn't let up. And he kept urging them, and convinced them. You convinced them. And they stayed. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. He pressed them greatly. They turned in unto him. He entered into his house. And he made them a feast. And he did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat.
But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called him to lie and said unto him,
both old and young.
Mm-hmm.
The whole city. The men. There was no women there. The men of Sodom, old and young, compassed. You know what that means? They surrounded the house. They surrounded it. Both old and young, all the people from every quarter, and what they said.
But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter, and they called him to lie and said unto him, we are the men which came in to thee this night. Bring them out unto us, that we may know them.
Now, this word, to know them in this fashion, is to have sexual intercourse with them. The men want to have sex with the men. Okay? They said, bring them out. It's nighttime. It's time to go to bed. And the mob is out there. Tamshi,
And Lot went out at the door unto the tent, unto them, and shut the door
He
after him.
came out and shut the door behind him like this. They inside and shut the door. Talk some sense into him, Punchy.
And said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters, which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing. For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said,
Yo,
stand back.
He's under my roof. He's under my protection. He's in my house. You can't come and do nothing to him, man. Especially this stuff. This is wicked, some wicked stuff y'all asking him to do, man. I'm going to just open the door and let them come out there. He said, nah, man. He said, y'all can't do that. He said, if it's that bad and you need some action like that, do it with the woman. And I got 2 daughters, and they haven't no man. And now that's not cruelty. A lot of people read this and they say, oh man, how could you give your daughter? Let me tell you something. There's a different mentality of people in the ancient world. It wasn't just us. God had to tell us, don't sell your daughter to a strange nation. Other than that, we selling her. Everybody did that. We don't have the mentality today. I don't have the mentality to sell my daughter today. I don't have that mentality. I don't have a mentality that like a Moabite, they put their children through the fire. God had to tell Israel not to do it, and they still did it. So it was a different mentality these people had. Abraham didn't have to say, hey, man, he want me to burn them. Wow. They were doing it anyway. Where he come from, they do it. So it was a different mindset. These people were not barbaric. I hear Israelites saying that. They weren't barbaric. They weren't cave people. They were people that lived and had their own land and were governed by God himself. Now, however God see fit for them to live, that's the way to live on this planet. Yeah, certain things got to get cleared up. This is not inhuman. He said, yo, 2 of my daughters, man, you can have them do what you want with them. This here is wickedness. Yeah, that's bad. No. But this is the worst of it. I even seen him make a movie, jail movie. Dude was pressing this dude, man. And they wanted to do the same thing to him. A bunch of Aryan Nation dudes. God came in between and said, nah, man, you can't do that, man. This is a man. You don't want to fight him. What you want to do to him is something you do with a woman. This is a man.
Man.
And he remember, right? Remember? He said, this is a man. And he looked at him like, what's wrong with you? This is a man. If you want to fight, get it on. But all that other stuff is over with, man. You can't do that. What's wrong with you? So he's trying to talk sense into them. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one, read. He said, this one fellow came into sojourn,
and said,
No.
And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he would needs be a judge. And now will we deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door.
Okay. This situation is getting to be very
Rough.
Yeah. They're not trying to hear none of that. It's a mob. They're not hearing it. They said, man, and this guy, he came here, he is a traveler. He ain't came even from here. Now all of a sudden, he want to run everything. He want to tell us what's right and wrong. He said, matter of fact, we're going to press on you. That's what they said. He said, now we will deal worse with thee than with them. What you gonna do with him worse than what you was gonna do with them, man? Man. He said they pressed sore upon the man. Now they pushing up on him, and he pushing back, and it's a struggle. What happened? Read.
But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut to the shut to the door.
2 men that's inside opened the door, grabbed him, hurry up and shut the door. Hurry up and shut the door and bolted and locked it, and they beating it down. They trying to ram it open. What kind of a mob is this, man? You don't even want the riches he got in there. You don't even want the food. You want to do something wicked. Tamshi.
And they smote the men that were at the door of the house to them. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door.
They wasn't blind like they couldn't see. They just couldn't find this. All of a sudden, this ain't there. This is not there. Those are angels. They hit him with that blindness. Now you can't find the door. Because if they find the door, what's going to happen? They're going to break it down. So now they can't find it. And they're all moving around. Tamshi.
And the men said unto Lot, hast thou here any besides son-in-law and thy son and thy daughters? And whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place.
Now, Most High sent them down there to destroy that place. Am I right or wrong? He sent them down there to destroy it, right? They don't even know what's about to happen to the city, right? And they pressing upon the ones that's going to destroy it. They don't even know. Like, God justice. Remember, Most High had this conversation with Abraham. Abraham asked, if there's such and such a mountain in the city that are righteous, would I say? Because you don't, all right. The destruction of God and the wrath of God is not something nobody wants. You don't look for that. You don't pray for that on people either. You know what I'm saying? It's something terrifying. So Abraham said, that's why he asked God, he said, yo, man, what you about to do is, you about to really set everybody on, he's about to set everybody on fire. It's already, judgment already went down. God said, there's no righteous people there. Ain't nobody there for me to save the city. So the verdict, the sentence is out. That's why those two angels came there. They came there to get Lot out. Once Lot come out, they're gonna start doing their thing. They're commanded to destroy that place. These people made it even more worse because you going after the ones that God sent to kill all of y'all. So they said, oh wow, yeah, no wonder God want to kill this, to destroy this place up. Come inside, Lot. Look, is there anybody else? Because they're about to move him out. So they said, hast thou here any besides son-in-law and thy sons and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. So whichever you got right here, right now, get it and get out now. Get out of this place. Move away from here. He said, for we will destroy the place because the cry of them, the cry of who? Is waxing great before the Lord. And the Lord has sent us to destroy it. Who's crying? The dead, the people who came there got done dirty and wickedly by these people. The cry of innocent blood, the cry of Abel. Abel got murdered. People who died got murdered, their blood cried. Automatic.
Too much.
It is too after wow. The blood of that city is so much done in this city, so much killing, so much blood, so much innocent this, that,
now
innocent that. Yo, you get tired of it.
The whole city.
He gets tired. It ain't just homosexuality was going on there. That was just part of the things that go on in the city.
They was taking innocent lives.
They was taking innocent lives. He said what?
The cry of the dead
cried out of them.
They cried out before God.
They didn't have prisoners. So it was people that died that got done dirty and wicked. He said the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord. Was it the children of Israel? Remember, the same thing happened with them in Egypt. He said the cry was bitter. And then it made him remember Abraham, Isaac. There's no Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob dealing with these people. Those are heathens that got done dirty by heathens. And this city is destined to be destroyed. He said, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. This is called the visitation of God. When somebody dies, God visited them.
Mm-hmm.
That was their visitation. That was your personal visitation, right? When a city gets destroyed, that was their visitation. Chief said one day, he said, he said, you don't want God to visit you. You want him to appear to you. When he visit, it means he comes to oversee destruction. I said, man, I never understood that. But, until I started reading here and there, I said, okay, all right. That's why the Israelites are supposed to listen. God said, look, y'all are different. I got y'all hooked up with me. All you got to do is stay with me and my commandments, and you'll run everything. By 2022, you still got a king sitting on the throne. We go to Jerusalem for the 3 appointed times. We would still be able to go. It would still be there. The tabernacle would still be there. It would have still been there. It would have counted today. It would have counted. So it's the iniquity of the people that mess everything. Heathens too. Everybody gets it. He said, and we were sent to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, these are the son-in-laws that married his daughters, right? He said, up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. They let you know what they did? They said, man, this guy fucking man. Ain't nobody destroying this place. Ain't no man. God, they don't know God. They don't know the Lord like that. Okay? So when people don't know God, they don't follow his commandments, right? They're going to be ignorant. They're going to be ignorant of judgment. They're going to be ignorant of correction. I got shot 9 times, and now you still going in harder. I got shot 11 times, and you don't make your life better before God. You went through this, you did that, you did this. All right, now you gave God his praise, because that's also praising God. When you acknowledge that God put you through this for your sins, right? And then he did some miraculous stuff that's not supposed to happen, man. These things ain't supposed to happen, right? That's also praising God and blessing his name. You bless his name like that too. You give his credit. He like his credit. He like his glory. He don't like when you give his glory to another. Look. Today, you don't give the glory to another. You take it upon yourself. You take it upon yourself. You say, I did. The woman say, I gave you a son. Yeah. She don't say like they said, God gave me a man child. The mentality is different. He said, when the morning arose, then the angels hastened, Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife. Look, man, forget those guys. Forget the rest of the family. They don't believe. The whole family don't believe. We've been doing this all our lives, years. The family don't believe. And when the time comes, can't do nothing for you. Because you did not believe God. You have to believe. Once you believe God, everything you're going to read, you're going to apply, you're going to do this, your desire going to grow, it all goes down. It all going to go down. It's going to come together. But if you don't, because you believe, if you don't believe, you ain't going to do nothing. You're not going to act. You're right. When you get the order, you're not going to act on the order. You're going to reject it. Take your wife, your 2 daughters, which are here with you, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. If you don't leave here now, you're going down with everybody down with it. And while he lingered,
the men laid hold upon his hand and upon the hand of his wife.
He lingered.
And upon the hand of his 2 daughters. The Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. And it came to pass when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said,
see what happened? They literally had laid hold upon his hand. They grabbed his hand, grabbed his wife's hand, the other one grabbed his 2 daughters' hand. Let's go. It's going down. There's a time set for this thing to go down, and it can't go down unless you get out of here. And you know why? You know why we got to get this man and who is under him out? Because that's that's the servant of God. That's God's friend's nephew. That ain't even his son. That's his nephew. But he had his nephew rode with him. When he moved out, Lot went with him. Lot could have stayed. Why Lot ain't stayed? Lot said, you know what? I'm going to move with Uncle over here. The rest of the family said, man, why you going, man? Your uncle crazy, man. He going out there to serve some, he talking about some God came to him and told him to go to Canaan land. He gonna get killed. You need to stay here. He said, nah, I'm gonna go with him. I'm gonna go with him. Hey, who's to know? His father probably said, if I die, you go with your Uncle Abram. Like you said, you get commands from your father. You get commands from your mother before they die. Certain things and certain people, they're going to tell you stay away from. Not just certain things, right or wrong.
Yeah.
They're going to say, well, look, man, I know that's your family, but I don't want you around him. I don't want you around her.
Right.
I don't want you around this guy. That's what David did. David did word. David said, look, man, take care of him, man. He got to go. I can't do it. But do it how you going to do it, because I swear to God, I can't do it. I can't have my hands in it. I can't be a part of it. I can't do it. But I'm throwing that in the air, man. You my son. You wise. Use that. And he did.
He sure did.
He did. He said, okay, now you, listen here, come here, man. Now look at, he gave his brother a pass. Out of all those guys, he wasn't on the list. He made himself the top of the list. But he let him pass. You know why? Because he came to bow before Solomon, and Solomon said, go home. Adonai. He said, go home. He said, go home. What made him kill him was he kept pressing. He wouldn't leave the matter alone. Certain matters you just got to leave alone because it's going to work against you. Now you open up a can of worms against yourself. What you asking for her for?
Okay.
That's mine. That's mine. I'm the king. Abi never touched her.
Okay.
That's mine. That's how it goes. In all kingdoms, it went like that. The concubines go to me. All the concubines is mine. Now that means it's an insult. You asking for something that belongs to me. You didn't ask for a mule. You asked for my woman. That means you want to make a royal seed. And when you make that royal seed, you're going to want to kill me. And my mother. And everybody. That's how it went. That's how it went. They had to get out there before they get consumed with the city. Right? He said he lingered. You know what to linger means? To hesitate. To go beyond patience. You know what that means? When you go beyond, you waited too long. It's good to have patience, but God shows you when to strike. If you're in tune, He's going to show you, all right, this is done. I don't have to wait no more. I don't have to wait with this. And then everything else is wait on God. God said, wait on the Lord, I say. Wait on the Lord. Verse 17. And it came to pass when he brought him forth before that he said, escape for thy life. He took them out of the city limits and said, escape, run. Ain't nowhere to go. Ain't no family nowhere else. There's no train, no bus, no cab, no Uber, none of that stuff. They don't even own a horse. You got to just find somewhere to get away from this area. Escape for thy life. Look not behind thee. Neither stay thou in all the plain. Get out of the plains. Head up towards the mountains. Get out the plain. The whole plain gonna get scorched. And don't look behind you. Do not look back. You are not supposed to see what is happening. You cannot see certain things. Flesh, the human flesh, man's eyes, we cannot see. It's just this is how it is. It is ordained that way by God. Certain things that'll kill you. It'll melt you at the spot. You see it turn her to stone, right? His eyes alone. He said his eyes are 1,000 times brighter than the sun. What? Yeah. God's eyes, the Most High's eyes, That sun is dark compared to God's eyes. It's 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Can you look at the sun with your eyes open like that? No. Because what? It burned. The sun burned after a while. It's hot. It feels like you're going to melt, right?
Yes.
So you can't, you're not going to be able to see God. Because he's going to kill you. You're going to burn. You're going to disintegrate. That's why he doesn't show himself. He is the most holy and the most powerful, right? So he deal with us, right? Mysteriously. You know why I say that? Because you don't know what he looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he came down on top of the tabernacle was the tent. It's a big giant tent that looked like a circus. You know the circus tent? It's big, 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 and thousands of people could go up in it. That's how the tabernacle in the Bible looked.
Right.
And when God came down, you can't see him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cloud. He's in a cloud. And all they see was light coming out the cloud. And whenever that cloud came down, violators ran. They was trying to kill Moses. When the cloud came down, they ran. One brother tried to tell me, oh, no, they don't listen, brother. They ran. You know why? They don't belong there.
That's right.
They didn't belong there. God did not want the tabernacle amongst the people. After they did what they did, he said, take that tabernacle, Moses, and take it off the grounds. It's miles away from them.
Right.
So when they mobbed to go and kill Aaron and Moses, they got together and walked all the way to journeyed out there. When the cloud came down, they ran and went back home. Read this book and stop reading it with your own mind. A lot of people, reading level in school is not good. So I don't expect for you to comprehend everything you read in the law in English, let alone in the Hebrew. Some shit.
Escape to the mountains, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto him, Oh, not so, my Lord. Behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountains, lest some evil take me and I die.
If I go up in the mountains, I'm going to die. If you do not know how to survive in the mountains, you will die. You say, hey, you city boys, you ain't got to worry about you guys. You ain't going to survive in this mountain by your own. And he's right. Summer or winter, there are certain things you got to look out for. There's animals, deadly animals out there, bears, mountain lions, bobcats, Tasmanian devils, cougars, snakes. Mountain is a bunch of hawks, and they're all aggressive. In the mountains, you could trip and fall, and that's it. You die.
Nothing to eat.
There's nothing to eat. Everything poisonous. You can't just go there. Oh man, look at these berries. Pick it. You dead. You dead. That's what made Esau such a hard dude, because he lived in the field. That was his habitat. He slept out there. His father said, smell of the field that Lord had blessed, but it's dangerous. And he said, man, I go up in there, I'm going to die, man. Tell me.
Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, See, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city, for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou come thither. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar.
He said, man, if I go in the mountains, I'm going to die. I can't live out there. He said, yo, let me get to the nearest city from here that I can live, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gracious to you for saving my life. But I don't want to go out there and die. What's the use of me, you saving me, and I go out there and die? They don't rock like that. Like who we say, God, what's the use of God? How God gonna save a person from an ordeal where you're supposed to be dead, and then 2 days later kill you? God don't get down like that.
That's right.
You know, so he said, look, listen, man. Yeah, you're right. Go to the city. We're not gonna do nothing until you reach the city, because the whole plains is gonna get lit up. Get to the city. As soon as you reach to the city, then, but we can't do nothing until you get there, so you gotta hurry up and go. Okay? Hasty, escape thither. I cannot do a thing until thou come thither. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. All this went down at night. He's running through the plains at night. He got him out of there at night. Because remember, all this started at night. They was going to go, angels don't sleep. But they were in human form. They sat down, eat feast, everything. And as they was about to sleep for the night, retire for the night, right? That's when they came banging on the door. So all this went down all night. The sun is rising. He just hit the city as the sunrise. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. You see, this is what they say. You see, this is why they got a lot of depictions of stuff wrong. When you hear about brimstone and fire, it's supposed to be only from hell. But this, every time I hear about brimstone in this book, it's coming from the heavens. It's coming from the heavens. Brimstone and fire. That's the type of stone you ain't gonna find that's not on earth. And that's what the archaeologists and scientists say, this stuff this is the brimstone and fire that came from heaven. That's what they say.
Verse 25. And he overthrew those cities and all the plains and all the inhabitants of the city, and that which grew upon the earth, upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt.
Now, everybody says that she looked back because she still had children there. You don't say that.
I
I don't know why. You don't know why she looked back.
That's right.
And some people can't help.
But look,
They say, everybody be quiet for 5 minutes. So there's going to be one person that can't help but say something.
You know what would have drew my interest? I want to see how God would destroy it.
Hey, that's probably what was
That's
on my
what
She probably heard the cries. She probably heard.
She's a mother.
She heard stuff. So you don't know what it was. But she was the only one that looked back.
She was the only one.
The 2 daughters didn't look back,
No,
and the father didn't look back.
no.
And when that happens, she
Yeah,
turned into
keep
what?
moving.
You gotta keep moving. He said, escape thither. I can't do nothing till you reach that city. And get it. You gotta get out the plane. You're still in the kill zone. You see like ground zero? This is the area where everything went down there. But the surrounding areas is gonna be messed up too. So you gotta get out of there. She looks back. Immediately she turns into salt.
She wasn't supposed to see.
Okay? Whatever she saw, she wasn't supposed to see. A lot of things that Moses saw, nobody else was supposed to see.
That's right.
They didn't get it. Korah and Dathan and Byron, they didn't get it. This is, you already should be privileged with the stuff God got y'all doing. Oh, y'all got it, y'all too. He said, but I didn't pick myself. This wasn't an election. This wasn't by vote or hereditary. God picked me. I didn't even want it. Remember, he didn't want it. Moses didn't want the child.
That's true.
God got tight and said, look, listen, man, you the one I picked. You going. Matter of fact, you got help coming. Your brother Aaron coming. You're going to be happy to see you.
Right.
And whatever you can't say, he going to say.
That's right.
That's why it was Moses and then Aaron.
That's right.
And as we pointed out the other day, even Moses knows his place. Everybody, the leader knows his place. Everybody, certain things, this guy, he's ordained and consecrated to do what I can't do. Moses ain't picking up no sense up. Other than that, he would have did it. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
That's true.
He would have did it. Certain things they knew. David knew that he was in that bracket where he could tell the priest, look, I don't need you to inquire for me. Give me the ephod. After a while, he didn't ask nobody to inquire of God for him. He kicked the ephod. He put the ephod on. Is he supposed to put the ephod on? No. But he knew You say, well, man, what you doing?
Yeah,
Nah,
so-
Iman said I could do it. You gotta leave that man alone. No, but why everybody? Look. Iman said he could do it. Leave him alone. That's the same thing. God said, well, David could do that. I deal different with this guy. So certain things he could do because it keeps him close to me. So he put the ephod on and he inquires of God and gets the answer about the men of Keilah. He said, will they give me up? He said, oh yeah, they're going to give you up. They're giving you up right now. Nothing happened to him. Let any other king had tried that. He would die. So with certain people, you just gotta stay in your position, stay in your place. He said, oh man, you hurry up, man, go get it. Because only he could do it because of what he was wearing. Moses didn't wear the holiness to God across his forehead. He didn't have that mitre on his head. He didn't wear the breastplate. And he wasn't consecrated to wear these things. You know what consecrated means? Set apart. Set apart. And there's a way to set a person apart to be a priest, right? It's in the book. But where he at? Where the breastplate at? Where's the breastplate? You can't make a new one. It got to be that same. If you a priest, you the high priest, where's the breastplate? Where's the Urim? Where's the Thummim? Even they got stuck and didn't have answers. And then priest we go to, the priest, he don't have the answers, but he got the stuff that's linked to God. And he put up the Urim and the Thummim, and it's going to tell you who did what. He's going to give you the answer. Those things light up. You know that, right?
Yeah.
The breastplate lit up. It's not electricity. It didn't have batteries. Who lit that up?
What?
God. That's how close those men was to God. That's why God said, oh, these things here, you're going to put them up. Nobody is worthy to touch those things. Time sheet.
And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord.
This was the same place that he stood when he was conversating with God about the people in this city, saving them if there's 10 righteous. Right? It's the same spot. Because you can see Sodom and Gomorrah from there. Time sheet.
And he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah and towards all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace.
Now, people say, yeah, Abraham saw it. Abraham didn't see it.
No.
Abraham didn't see it.
No.
He got up and saw the aftermath.
Right.
He said, look, and saw smoke. World Trade Center. See how that smoke, all that smoke went up and it kept going up? That was bigger than that. That's what he saw. Oh, wow. The whole plain where the city at is surrounded. Do you know what it is? You back in those times? You're on top of Mountain Cliff. You look and you see millions and millions, as far as your eye can see, people coming to invade you. You know what kind of feeling that is?
What?
Do you know what that? They needed God, man. God said, yo, man, don't turn on me. Because if these guys come, they coming with no remorse. When the Babylon, they coming with no remorse. You're going to need me. You're going to cry to me then. When the police come, and they come heavy, and they come for you, and they come like, you ain't do nothing personal to them, but they hate you. That's God that does that.
That's right.
That's God that does that. Okay, he ain't got to do that to you. He put a disease on you that can't be explained. You're too young to have this. You're too old to have this. Right or wrong? It comes from God. Ordeals, events, and situations. We call it situations, right? All these things come from God to make certain things happen. He said, who's going to go down there and seduce this guy's brain because I want him to die in battle. So things happen to lead a course for you to go or stay. Yeah. Abraham didn't see this because it was not meant for no human to see it. So he came in the aftermath, and when he saw it, he remember he tried to talk God out of it. Because at the end of the day, godly men, they would rather deal with you with righteousness than kill you. Destruction and all that. God only does that when he's upset. And you got to get him, it takes a long time to get him that way. You understand what I'm saying? Godliness is not all of the destruction and hate and murder, all that stuff. That's what brings the iniquity. Abraham tried to talk him out of it, but he said, hey, man, there ain't no righteous people there. So that's it. Now the aftermath. He said, and when God destroyed the cities of the plain, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow. When he overthrew the cities in which the Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountains. He went in the mountain. He didn't want to go in the mountain. He said, go ahead, go in the mountain. Go to Zoar then. He went into Zoar. After that, he kept moving and went into the mountains. All right? He left that city and dwelt in the mountain and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. See? He was so scared. He said, you know what? I'm going to go in the mountain. He was scared. Tomshi.
And he dwelt in the cave, he and his 2 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth.
That's why they did this. Right?
So,
That's why you got to understand their mentality. Their head, that's the only world they knew. It wasn't cities like today. There weren't planes in the air. It wasn't helicopters. Oh, on this side, where we at now, nobody was living here. You got to understand that. What they saw was the world being destroyed. So they thinking, yo, it's just us 2 and our Father. And there ain't no man on the earth to go into them to make more. Remember, the earth is still young, and the earth is still being replenished, don't you?
Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father.
She said, there's not a man in the earth. There's no, in their head, all men are dead. There's no man to come in after us, to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. You know what the manner of all the earth is? You get married, you have children. Your children grow up, they get married, have children, and so on. And that's the manner of all the earth. God said, what? Replenish the earth. Multiply. Some sheep.
And they made their fathers drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose, nor when she arose.
Certain liquor I drink, I pass out. I'm not going to remember nothing. I've seen people drink and don't remember certain things they said or done. It does happen.
that's true.
It does happen. You could drink to that point. That's why I have a limit to my drinking. Once I start laughing too much, I know I'm drunk. I know I'm drunk. I keep drinking, I get a headache. Next thing you know, I'm in the bathroom early. So I went over. Now I got a hangover. So it's a limit for me. They didn't have no limit. They said, let's get him drunk. Why they said let's get him drunk? So he won't be aware of what's going on. If he wasn't drunk, he gonna say, hell no, man. I ain't, there's more men here. They were naive. When you think you're the only one in the planet left, there's something different. There's something different. Put yourself in that position. It's different. But he would have did that if he wasn't passed out. He didn't know. Tongue sheet.
Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son and called his name Ben Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon.
And that's how you got the Moabites. And that's how you got the Ammonites. A lot of people say that the reason why God said don't let them in because they're a bastard nation. No, it's never said that. That, just gotta leave that part alone. Okay? Just gotta leave that alone.
Give you a reason why he said don't let them in.
God said the reason why is because they hired Balaam to curse you.
Right.
And they didn't feed you with bread and water.
Right. Right.
That's
the reason why.
It ain't got nothing to do with that, with this here.
No.
With their beginnings.
No.
And look, later on, he told them, don't roll on the Moabites, leave them alone. Those are the ones, he said, the ones you're supposed to destroy is the Canaanites,
Right.
not the Moabites. So it don't have nothing to do with that. You gotta leave that alone. You know, people like to look at a lot of stuff in here and say, oh, there's incest, but and you don't even understand what happened. The man don't even know what he was doing. He's innocent of that because he would have stopped him. And they innocent in the fact that they figure, man, it's over. It's over. Like that movie, I Am Legend. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem.
Next week, Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
Tuesday, sundown. What's it? It's Yom Kippur.
Right.
You still have to have a holy convocation on that day. All you have to do is fast. You afflict yourselves and have a holy convocation until the sun is down. Okay.
We're gonna stay up here till another 15 minutes, 2 o'clock. And we're gonna go into, let's go into Genesis. Right, Genesis chapter 30, not 34, 38. Yeah, 38.
Genesis chapter 38.
Yeah.
And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren.
And it came to pass that Judah went down from his brethren, read,
and turned into a certain Adulamite whose name was Teruah.
Teruah, read.
And Judah saw a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua. And he took her and went in unto her.
And he took her and went into her, right? Read.
And she conceived.
She conceived.
And bare a son, and he called his name
Called his name Read.
And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan.
Onan, read.
And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah.
Shelah,
And he was at Kesed when she bare him.
Mm-hmm.
And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, his name was Tamar. And
see, the fathers took the wives for the daughters. The fathers took the wives for the sons. But you did have sons that went and chose their own wives.
They didn't do that.
But they still went to go through the father. They went through the father because the father had to get the okay from the woman's father, from the daughter's father, from the little girl's father. So they didn't just go and just snatch the man's daughter. Two fathers had to connect, had to come and talk with. See if it's allowed. Am I allowed to have this woman for my wife?
Right.
You ain't gonna just snatch my wife without me telling you and giving you the okay.
Right.
All right, read.
And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord.
Now it wasn't it never stated what did. That God looked at him as wicked and evil.
No.
Just said that he was wicked in the sight of God, and God killed him. Read.
And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother.
Raise up seed for your brother. It ain't my seed. I gotta raise up seed for my brother because this law only took place when brothers lived together.
They have to dwell together.
Gotta dwell together. And if I die without having a son, then my brother that lived with me had to go into my wife and raise up seed for my dead brother. Read.
And Onan knew that the seed should not be his.
Now realize that. Onan knew that the seed was not his. He was thinking about himself.
So it ain't gonna be mine.
It ain't my seed. So why I gotta raise up seed
I ain't even
and give a child to raise up seed for him? That's the mentality. It takes a certain mentality to do these laws. If you do not have that type of mentality to do a way of thinking, then you cannot do God's law. So the man was selfish. He only thought about himself. He knew that the seed would not be his, so what he did. And it came to pass
unto his brother's wife
that
he spilled it on the ground.
That he spilled it on the ground. What did he spill on the ground? The seed. Went into the man's wife, to his brother's wife. When he was about to ejaculate, he pulled out and the semen fell. That's why God killed him. Read.
Lest that he should give seed to his brother.
Because he didn't want to give up seed. He didn't want to raise up seed to his dead brother. So what does it say? What's the next verse?
And the thing which he did displeased the Lord.
The thing which he did was evil. It was evil in the eyes of God. So what God did?
Wherefore he slew him also.
He slew him also. Read.
Then said Judah to Tamar's daughter-in-law.
These times then, God did not allow you to keep running.
You ain't gonna get too far.
You ain't gonna get too far. Once you did something that was evil in his eyes, he shut you down quick. The people was very close to God to where the once they violated, God approached them. And took them out.
The closer you are, the quicker it goes.
Quicker the judgment happened. He said, wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law,
Remain a widow.
Remain a widow. Stay to yourself.
Lock it down.
Lock it down. He said, remain a widow where?
At thy father's house.
At your father's house.
Till Shelah, my son, be grown.
Till Shelah, my son, be grown. Read.
Well, he said, lest peradventure he die also.
I don't know what's going to take place with Shelah. Lest peradventure he ended up doing the same thing and he ended up dead.
Yeah.
Read.
As his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house.
Read.
And in process of time, the daughter of Shua.
Years done passed.
The daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. And Judah was comforted and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnath, he and his friend Hirah the Adullamite.
Read.
And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to tear his sheep. And she put her widow's garments from off her, covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself.
The virgins, the married woman, the widows, they all had a certain attire. The whores, they all had a certain attire. So Tamar took off her widow's attire and put on what?
And covered her with a veil.
Covered herself with a veil.
And wrapped herself.
So that was during times change. Times changed to where it ain't a veil. That's not the attire of a whore anymore. Even the whores had some type of shame with themselves. Because the whores cover their face with a veil, you ain't gonna know who you lying with. You came there, you went into her, you paid her, and you went on about your business.
You can't point
but Tamar was on a mission. Tamar was on a mission because she only was looking for one specific guy, one specific dude that was Judah. Read.
And sat in an open place.
Sat in an open place.
Which is
that's what a woman with virtue don't do.
Right.
You don't sit in an open area to be noticed.
General area.
You don't keep passing by to be noticed. You don't want to be the loudest one to be noticed by other men. Read.
But she saw that Shelah was grown,
Uh-huh.
and she was not given unto him to wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face.
Uh-huh.
And he turned unto her by the way and said, Go to
Now
it.
we gotta think about that too. Out of all the whores that's there, God led him to her. You know, no, he got led towards her. Got led towards Tamar.
Yeah.
Read.
Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter.
They were straightforward.
He said,
What's your name? Your name don't count.
"We only want to know
I don't
your
want
name."
to know your name. I don't know how old you is.
He
Say,
said, "Let's go."
listen, let me
Let's
come
go.
in unto
We
you
do this.
and I'll pay you for it. That's it. Read.
What wilt thou give me that thou mayest come in unto
Well, what are
me?
you going to give me so that you can come into me? What's my payment?
And he
Read.
said, I will send thee a kid from the flock.
A kid from the flock. That's a big payment. Read.
And she said, wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it?
Right. Now, Tamar was smart.
I guarantee
She said,
you.
listen, I'm not going to be able to tell that this is the God that came in unto me. So, what you going to say? Won't you give me a pledge until you come
you
with
bring
that? You don't have it now,
You don't have
which
it.
means you got to go get
You
it.
gotta
So,
send
give me
it.
a pledge so I can hold, so that when you come back with this flock, I have this to give you. Right? Read. And he said, what pledge shall I give thee? Look what she asked for.
Thy
Your
signet,
signet,
thy
your
bracelet,
bracelet,
thy staff.
and your staff.
That is
Those
in
are
thy hand.
identifications. Those are IDs. Read.
And he gave it her and came in unto her, and she conceived by him.
Uh-huh.
And she arose and went away and
She
laid by
arose,
her
went
veil
away,
from
and
her,
laid by her, took off her veil,
and put on the garments of a
put on the
widow.
garment of her widowhood.
And Judah sent the kid by the hand
Judah
of his
sent the
friend
kid by the hand of his friend,
Yeah,
the Dulamite,
to receive his
to receive his
pledge
pledge
from the woman's
from
hand.
the woman's
But he
hand.
found her not.
He found she gone.
Yeah.
She got to keep that
She
pledge.
got to.
Because that's proof that Judah went into her and she didn't go in.
That's right.
No other man been
That's
into
right.
her
She gotta
because
keep
she's
that
supposed to
pledge.
be waiting.
She can't
And
do
if
it.
I cohabitate or have sex with another man, then they gonna kill me.
Yeah, they'll kill her before the man.
Read.
Then asked the men of that place, saying, where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, there was no harlot in this place.
Mm-hmm.
And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place.
Mm-hmm.
And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I sent this kid.
Lest
and
we
thou hast
be
not found
shamed.
him. Yeah.
Lest we be disdained, scorned,
Scorned for this.
hated.
They ain't gonna jack us no more.
Right. These people kept their
Get a
word,
bad
man.
name.
These people kept their word. And they didn't want all that stuff on their name, things like that on their name. He said, read.
And it
So I
came to
sent
pass,
this. Read.
and it came to pass about 3 months
3
after
months after.
that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, had played the harlot. And also, behold, she is with child by bosom. And Judah said, bring her forth, let her be burnt.
Uh-huh.
When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose deeds are, am I with child? And she said, discern, I pray thee.
Discern, I pray thee.
Whose of these?
Discern,
signet,
I pray thee. Who are these? The signet,
The
bracelet, and
and the
staff.
staff. And Judah acknowledged him
Uh-huh.
and said, she has been more righteous than I,
She had been more righteous than I.
because that I gave her not to Shelah,
Uh-huh.
my son, and he knew her again no more.
She didn't go back to him.
Nah,
Right.
No more.
she
She just wanted to raise up seed for a dead husband. That was only her duty. That's all she was concerned with. Read.
And it came to pass in the time of her travail that, behold, twins were in her womb.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass when she travailed that the one put out his hand And the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. And it came to pass as he drew back his hand, that, behold, his brother came out, and she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez.
Pharez, right?
And afterward came out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zebah.
With that, I got what was bought. And I'm going to say, Yom Teruah Shalom.
Yom Teruah Shalom. It is party time. It's time to eat. Let's go.